Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Gentlemen. What is Alex
He's a mess.
doing right now?
He's a
mess,
dude. He's an absolute mess.
Just got back from work. I say that word very respectfully.
Pull out that little
I'm
computer.
so excited to be back in the gym. I'm fucking
grab my
No,
computer
listen.
real quick, you guys.
Listen, you want to see how many notes I took today of sets? I was like, listen, I'm writing this shit down. We're gonna get some work. My heart is still through the roof. At one point, I started tripping over my own words, and I was like, Boone, calm down. I was so excited.
How many monsters in are you?
I have officially given up monsters and haven't had one for 2 months. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be done with that Antichrist nonsense. I'm so done with it.
Hold on. Where did this come from?
Yeah.
How did this work? Because those are like, you were part monster for a while.
I was. And then I saw this video that was talking about, and it's the O with the upside down cross and how they like you to flip it upside down. And I was like, my aunt would kill me.
So you went down like a YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh, dude, I went down
This
a
was
bad
nothing
one.
health related.
They
This
thought
is all philosophically
They thought it
related.
was selling me, and I was like, I'm out. I am not a part of this nonsense. I do not do this. And plus, you know what? I have to live a healthy lifestyle. I can't promise these kids I'm going to live forever when I'm drinking that shit.
And now you're on 6 Celsiuses every morning.
I promise you.
So what do you drink now?
All natural, baby. You don't even need it. You know me, Jay. Once the gym opens up, I'm like fucking through the roof.
Yeah,
You're
but
high
I also
on
know
vibes.
that I also know that
High
you
on
spend a lot of time in hockey arenas, bored out of your mind.
Coffee. I'm on the Starbucks kick. I have like 10,000 points saved up. When they're like, if you can get over 500, I own so much merchandise from Starbucks right now. It's amazing.
Dude, so wow, there's a lot of development. So Boonie's off Monster. Jay is rocking his new pearly white Invisaligns. Look at
terrible,
these things.
dude.
You do.
Trying to
What are you,
figure my
12?
life out.
Grow up,
Thank
Count
you.
Chocula.
Yeah, trust me, I'm not happy about it. They tried to put me in braces.
I'm
I was
not
like,
happy about
This
it
isn't
either.
happening. Hey,
Racist.
dude. Yeah, they were like, they were like, listen. So
die.
they're like, hey, so to get optimal teeth, you're gonna need to go in braces. I was like, no, like that's not how this is gonna work. I'm not gonna be a 33-year-old with braces. Give me the Invisalign.
We would have dinged you every fucking day you smiled.
trust me.
I swear to God. Could you imagine going to the combine like, hey, guys?
That's what I told them. I told them about recruiting. I was like, imagine me trying to sit in front of a 22-year-old, be like, hey,
Oh, no.
you want to sign with me, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
Mrs. Anderson, your son is a stud left tackle. We're going to take his career to new heights.
You got like
let
potato
me get the
chips
pipe
in there.
cleaner and
I was
clean
gonna
out my
say you got
thing
like
real
broccoli
quick.
stuck in the front. You're like, fuck.
No. So we're making it, though. We're here.
All right, so
We made
listen,
it.
now that we are here, we have to talk about how this was the separating weekend for everybody. Like, it was like you don't belong here. We should step the fuck on.
I almost feel like you and I need to retract our statement last week
About what?
about guys playing for their jobs and not checking out before the season ends.
There was a few teams.
There was a few teams I was like, wow, that Cancun trip is already booked, ain't it? Like
You must have bought a non-refundable ticket because you are really trying to get the fuck out of here.
They're
dude.
just like, don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt. Like,
I mean, yeah, there was some of that, but I'm talking more like there were teams that came out and just fucking obliterated people. Like I'll give you the best example. Philly come out with a backup quarterback and they're like, I don't give a fuck who you are, right? Third string quarterback comes in. At one point I'm like, who?
2 tutties.
Brian McGee? This is his second one? Who the fuck is this guy, right? Like, and once again, you know what I thought about? And this will be my first mic. It'll be the Eagles. Because I have a question, and I'm so excited for Saquon. I love Eric Dickerson, and I think he's a great fucking dude, and I love how he wore the rec specs. Like, rock on, dude. But that record needs to be broken. And all records need to be broken. I'm sorry. And I know it's hard for some of the old school people to understand that, but when you're in the league and you're like, you have people on teams that are close to records, you're like, I will do anything for you to break this. Because I want you to have this success more than anything. We all know deep down we want that individual success. It comes with the fucking game. It's part of the territory. This dude's 100 yards away. So here's my question. Do I or do I not? Don't you fucking dare shake your head.
no.
I say yes.
No.
And here's why. Here's why. I hate taking breaks. I've said this relentlessly. I hate bye weeks. I hate time off. It just fucks with the flow. Even if it's just a millisecond of timing, it's timing that we can't get back, and now we have to make up that ground. I am all in favor of going, here's the deal, boys. He's getting 20 totes in the first half. 20. He gets 101, and then his ass is out with the rest of you. Matter of fact, I'll make you this deal. The minute he crosses 101, you can all walk off the field. I don't even give a fuck if it's mid-series. I am for this. Now, I know there's going to be people like, don't do it.
No.
I'm telling you.
No.
Stop it. This is number one, a chance to break a record that has been there forever.
Yeah.
Forever. We've all been like, oh, we're so close. No. Do it. Do it.
Would you rather break a record or win a Super Bowl?
Break the fucking record.
Would you rather? No. I'm asking you right now. You're on the Eagles. Would you rather walk into the meeting room today and go, all right, boys, the goal is to break Saquon's record?
Yeah.
Or is it,
Yeah.
boys, the goal is to win a Super Bowl and stay healthy for the playoffs?
Why can't you do
selfish.
both? Why
That's
can't
my
you
whole
do both?
point.
Why risk it? Why risk it?
What are you risking?
Why?
It's who you
Injury.
are.
You're risking
It's
injury for
your
a meaningless
team.
game. A meaningless game. This
We're in
game
this.
means nothing.
We're in this.
It means nothing.
We're in
The
this.
only thing that it matters is it's against the Giants. Like that's
Why I'm
the
not worried.
only.
I'm not
that's
worried.
The only piece for me, like, dude, imagine. I hate even saying this because I
Don't.
hate talking about it. What happens if AJ Brown gets Tank dealt? What happens? Now your Super Bowl run is nowhere near what it could be. What if Saquon Barkley gets rolled up on?
How dare you?
That's what I'm saying, though. The risk of injury for a meaningless game when you're trying to go win a Super Bowl after you just locked up the 2 seed. Sorry, dude. Try again later. I don't know what to tell you. We're trying to go win a Super Bowl. I'm not playing Saquon Barkley. I'm not playing Jalen Hurts. I'm not playing A.J. Brown. I'm activating every practice squad player that I have, and I'm saying, go try out for next year because I'm not risking anyone getting hurt.
Mackey, break this tiebreaker right now and do it with some fucking authority.
All right.
Do it.
100% team Alex on this one. I go for the record.
Oh,
So two things.
How could you not?
If Jeremiah could present evidence that suggests giving him 20 more carries in this final game leads to a super high percentage chance of him burning out. I'm more worried about maybe next year. Like he's going to wind up with 400 touches before the playoffs if he plays next week. That's less of a concern, super wild card weekend or divisional round, than it, like next year. Okay, like there's some evidence year to year that you give a guy 400
Christian.
touches that that
It's
your
not
body
going to end
breaks
well.
down.
Yeah, you're on
But
off all the
both
time.
you have a
Achilles.
chance.
And
You have
now
a
my
chance
hips.
as a franchise and as an offensive line and as a running back. Like Boone said, this record's been around for decades.
Forever.
And with the reduction in bell cow running backs, there's only like maybe one in every 10 years a guy that comes. By the way, Derrick Henry is like
2020, he did
200 yards away, but he's like
Yeah.
only 200 yards away from breaking this record too.
Dude, he
which
came
is
off
interesting.
this weekend.
So I would chase it, and I would say first half. First half, let's see what happens. We're gonna pound the run, and I'm not gonna chase it into the fourth quarter of a blowout. But I would chase it in the first half. And if it's going, if he has 12 carries for 20 yards, all right, we're gonna bail on this thing
good.
at halftime.
Yeah, maybe you
To a
go one
2,000 yard
series.
season.
Maybe you, dude.
one
I'm telling.
series. What's he going to do? Rip off a 100-yarder?
Yeah, he might.
They're playing the
They
Giants.
take a knee. They take
They're
a knee on the
playing-
1 yard line on the kickoff. Like, all right, Saquon, you got to rip this thing all the way, or else it's over.
We do what we do. Who says
Oh,
the
dude, I
Giants
just
don't?
exploded a stress ball in my hands. Not
Oh.
good.
What?
So,
Are you
like, you know
okay?
those things that you like squeeze? Like,
You broke it?
Yeah.
I'm a fidgeter. Yeah, dude, I just exploded it. It's just like
Oh,
What's
I
inside those
exploded.
things?
Something extremely sticky that I cannot get off of my hands. So
that is disgusting. Here we
okay.
The
Anyways,
rest of the
continue.
show.
Anyways,
Here we go.
into my mic of the Eagles. Did you see the video of the Eagles fans trolling the fuck out of Jerry Jones? Like they're
yeah.
all in
Oh,
front of
sweet,
his
dude.
suite. And then in my mind, I go, you'd think they'd protect the owners better than this. Like just
They're
have
right there. They are
10,000
right there.
people in front of him, like Jerry. I was like, oh, he's just sitting there. And for a minute, I was like, he's learning. He's learning just to let it go. You don't hear them. You don't see them.
I wanted him to go full David
I
Tepper.
did.
Like I
And
wanted
then
like throwing the glasses. Like I
Fuck
wanted
you.
him to go full David Tepper.
Stefan's like, fuck all of you. I did so much going. No, dude, I'm telling you, that made me laugh so hard because once again, I had to be thinking. The minute that they heard Saquon was going to leave the Giants, they were probably like, fuck, he's gone, right? And then they heard that they went to their next most hated arch rival, the Eagles. They were probably like, fuck, you got to be kidding me. And now you don't stand a chance. Like, dude, they just got dismembered, disemboweled. And I know you don't have your starting quarterback who's got $60 million. Great for you. They got fucking stomped, dude. And in front of Jerry, and now the fans are on him. That had me dying.
Jerry's not in a good place.
No.
Jerry, I mean, I watched some like Dallas media today that they were going over like all the additions that they or all the pieces they lost in free agency and what they didn't add, and then how they're like, oh, Tyron Smith leaves, we'll just force a first-round pick, Tyler Guyton, who probably shouldn't have been a first-round pick. Oh, we lose this, we'll just force a second-round pick from Western Michigan. Like, oh, we lost Tyler Biotish, oh, we'll just force a rookie in there.
Who's never really played center.
It's
been a guard his whole career.
Not really a great time to be a Dallas Cowboys fan.
No. And segue into probably the next greatest Mike, who is not happy to be in ATL right now because they kept showing him on the sidelines. But, dude, Atlanta, super interesting what's going on down there, especially this last week, this game that they just played. Fuck, was that incredible.
Well, you just named the two franchises that have learned the hardest but most obvious lesson in the NFL, the Cowboys and the Falcons.
Yep.
Stop paying ridiculous money to
average
slightly
quarterbacks.
above average quarterback play.
Yes.
Build a team. Stop
Build a
handcuffing
foundation.
your roster and putting a glass ceiling on your franchise. As far as I'm concerned, the Cowboys and the Falcons are getting exactly what they deserve by giving $45, $50, $60 million to Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott. You made your bed, you lay in it,
Dude.
and you can have Eagles fans talking to you for 3 hours.
Did you see him on the sideline?
Dude, Kirk, when they're like, Kirk doesn't want to be too many voices. When like he comes off to the sideline and like all the coaches are there like looking at the iPad and Kirk's just
looking up at the scoreboard.
Wearing his helmet, by the way.
Yeah,
he
never took it off.
Wears his
Never
helmet
took it
as
off.
a backup on the sidelines.
You know what? He was probably making $20,000 for every minute that he stood there with his helmet on. So in his mind, he was probably like, "There's 20 more. There's 20 more. There's 20 more." Like
I saw a report that he's debating retiring.
Don't do that. Force them to cut you.
Oh, for sure.
You force them to cut you.
He makes the money. Well, I guess if he retires,
then
there's
he
probably a chunk that he wouldn't get.
Correct, because
but
you
he gets
basically
all
give
the
it back.
signing bonus that he signed.
No,
for.
they can recoup that. If you retire, they can go back at all that money that you didn't play for. Everything comes back, dude. Let me tell you what. If you don't do the work for
if you retire,
you ain't
like
getting the money for it.
Like if Aaron were to retire, or
gone.
like you have to repay.
There's no more like, hey, we'll pay you next year.
There's
We'll take care of
prorated.
it.
There's prorated of like you've got to.
Pay
We're
it
gonna
back.
recoup some of that.
Oh, sorry, I already spent it all at Kohl's. I don't know
Yeah.
what you want me to do.
Yeah, you get a refund, homie, because that money's coming back. But I'll tell you what,
Bring
you
those
know who
plaid
looked
shirts back.
You know who looked fucking incredible?
Can one of us have a mic, or are you just gonna
I'm
take
sorry.
them all?
Are you
I
just going
told
to
you.
plow
Are
through?
you
an
just
hour
gonna
of
plow
section?
through an hour, and we'll just react to you? It's
I'm
fine.
so excited today.
It's fine. It's good.
I love how
Mackey,
we're 13 minutes in, and we have not talked about the only story that matters in the NFL
I agree.
right now.
Don't.
No, it is.
Save
Alex.
it for last.
No, you don't. Save
Why?
I'm
it
going
for
to blow
last.
it all in the beginning of the show. That's the problem.
You should. Podcasting 101. Save all your best content for last.
For last.
Absolutely.
People have to
When
make
them
people have
stay.
to make them stay.
Make 'em
No, that's
stay.
not how this works.
The Minnesota Vikings are 14-2. Sam Darnold, career high. So the mic is the Minnesota Vikings.
100%.
Clearly.
And Sam Darnold with 377 yards, the most passing yards in any game in his career. And a team that was 6.5 preseason over-under win total is now in position next Sunday night, if they beat the Lions, and that's going to be a wild game, Sunday Night Football,
Thank God
to
it's Sunday
take
night.
the 1 seed, the bye, home playoff games, and the division in a year in which everyone thought they were transitioning and just kind of prepping for 2025 and 26. Kevin O'Connell emerging as one of the best coaches in the NFL. I got a bunch of Sam Darnold takes for you guys, but
No question.
what are your thoughts? Like, we've been sitting here all year watching this team, and
I mean, I really was concerned. I was a little concerned coming into this game because I watched Green Bay last week. They dismantled the Saints, right? Like, just picked them apart, could do no wrong. You know, we come out, the Vikings start a little slow, right? They're kind of figuring out what they want to do. But this just speaks to the testament of Kevin O'Connell. Dude, oh, you want to take Jefferson away? Hey, Naylor, you want to have a great day today? You want to just you want to be the one that gets open? Hey, Hawk, you want to be the one that gets open? His ability to adjust and adapt on the fly, and then for Sam Darnold to then go and execute the adjustment and the adaptions on the fly, is remarkable. It really is, because Green Bay had a very, very cut plan, which was 18 will not beat us. Right? 18 is not going to do it. No one else. If someone else does it,
Good.
And they were able to just be like, sure, cover 18. We'll figure it out. And then again, the defense is just continuing to find ways to take turnovers.
Yep.
I'm ready to put them as the number 1 team in the NFL. I'm
Whoa.
doing it. I'm doing it.
Wow.
I'm
Look at
vaulting
Jay.
the Bills. I am vaulting the Vikings to the top of they are the team to beat in the NFL right now, because there is no one playing better than them at this exact moment in time.
Okay, and I will say this. I don't know if, even as the lead Vikings homer on the show, the Buffalo Bills are an animal, and that Super Bowl would break the NFL record books, because it would
break the NFL. What are you talking about?
Dude, it'd be amazing. But here, you know what's funny? Like, the pushback to that take is, well, yeah, but the Bills have Josh Allen and Sam Darnold, and you kind of shrug and you wonder. But if I were to, let me take you through a scenario. All right, let's say you're watching the 2018 NFL draft, or can't remember what year he's drafted, right? 18.
Yeah.
And this dude, Sam Darnold, out of USC, absolute athletic freak, ridiculous arm, big body dude, crazy performances at USC, 3rd overall pick, was maybe going to go number 1 overall, and everything you thought about him on draft day. And then you go into a football coma for like 6 years, and you know nothing about what happened between 2018 and 2024. All you know is that you wake up and you start watching football, and you're like, oh, Sam Darnold. Yeah, I remember that guy. Wasn't he like the number 1 quarterback prospect 6 years ago? And he's 27 years old now, and he has 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, a top 5 passer rating, top 5 everything. And you watch him with your eyes, and he's running all over the place, keeping plays alive, hunting down the field. If you didn't know anything about his bumpy journey to get to what you're watching this year, wouldn't you think, yeah, this is exactly what any team that would have landed Sam Darnold would have expected by the time he was 26 or 27 years old, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
It's like Jay said, it just shows a testament to KOC. He's been on so many different teams, and nothing's really stuck. We've never seen production like this. Like, dude, at times he gets hit, and he makes it look effortless, and he gets right back up. Like, I think that's the one thing that I've been taken away this year, is that he is one of the toughest fucking quarterbacks in the league. Like, we've seen him get bent each way, and he's still getting up and throwing these fucking, dude, that dime to Jordan Addison was fucking money. And now the synergy, and that's why last week, Mackey, I know you weren't here, but I said, listen, I'm paying him. I'm sorry. We went down this road, and even after this last game, the synergy between this team, it's gone too high. I cannot stop and go, hey, let's hit reset next year. I'm sorry. And I know this is a business.
Did you see the locker room video?
Dude, they're fucking throwing Gatorade.
They showered him with nuts. They carried him on their shoulders.
You're going to let that go? I'm sorry.
Can't.
You're not. You're going to pay him whatever he wants, and you're going to go, JJ, you can either stay and learn and chill, or we can trade you out.
They're not going to trade him. That I should have called you on that last week. That was stupid.
Who? Which one?
Boone was like, hey, we're going to say Darnold, and then just be like, JJ, we'll just trade you if you want to leave.
Well, all right. Here hold on.
What, do you think that JJ's just going to go, I'd love to sit behind
You
this
don't have
guy
a
for 10
choice.
years.
You don't have a choice.
You could
I'll break
easily
this
make
tie
that
again.
whole friction where you go, I don't want any friction. Like, just naturally as an offensive
Everything
lineman,
we gave up to get him, no.
you've gotten it. It's the Brock Purdy effect. You struck out once, but
you don't even know if you're striking out.
But
you
you're
can't
paying
trade a
one
guy that's never
200
played.
some million. What are you doing
He
with
looked
the other
great
one?
against the 4th stringers in preseason. Yeah, you can't trade him on that. What are you going to trade him? No, you keep him on the cheap. You keep a quarterback on the cheap on the roster.
I don't think he'd be okay with that. I don't think his agent would either.
Who gives a shit? You're under contract. Like, you can't.
You and I
what are you
both
going to
know
do?
We can give
Let me
a
ask
shit.
you this. Let me ask you
can
this.
give a shit
Do you
quickly.
think, hey, this is a thin quarterback draft?
Yes.
And you've got, so hold on, let me float a scenario, because by the way, for the second time in the first 20 minutes, I'm Team Boone on this.
Thank
God,
you.
dang.
You
I
were
liked it
always
better
all-
when you were gone.
I'm making the most
So-
sense. I'm thinking clearly.
Right now, you have some quarterback desperate teams. Like right now, the Raiders are drafting 8th. They might not have access to Shador or to Cam Ward.
They're
the
not going
Saints
to.
might be in the mix for a quarterback at 5. There's some desperate teams.
Seahawks.
Here's what I would do. So I would franchise Sam Darnold, which you guys talked about last week.
Yes.
Okay, we're not letting you hit the
Franchise
market.
him.
So to control the interaction, we're franchising you. It's basically a 1-year, $40 million deal. We've got the cap space to just do it again next year at a bigger price tag. Not ideal, but I would franchise him. I'd work with him too and say, all right, we have two quarterbacks. One of them is 27 and just threw for a bajillion yards. The other one was one of the highest touted picks until the knee surgery. So they're both available. Who wants to give us a first-round pick? For either one of these guys, you pick. So you can either trade a first-round pick for Sam Darnold. Boom. Now Vikings have 2 first-round picks this year. J.J. McCarthy era. Maybe Daniel Jones enters quarterback rehab university in 2025, right?
Stop it.
Or a team says, you know what? I think J.J. McCarthy would be the number 1 quarterback off the board with this thin quarterback draft. We're the Raiders. We'll take We'll give you a first-round pick for J.J. McCarthy. And then you guys can keep Sam Darnold. And then I do long-term extension with Sam Darnold.
You've been podcasting way too
Mackey.
long.
No
one's going to do that, dude.
What is McCarthy's value right now?
Not a first-round pick. No, he's never played a game. He's played a preseason football game. You're going to give up a first-round pick for that?
Yes, because they did last year. Then they would have last year.
Dude, that's way different. Giving up a first-round pick for that guy and then like planning all through the draft of how we're going to draft a quarterback and go through it.
What if you're the Colts and you're done with Anthony Richardson?
You're not done with Anthony Richardson. You're not done with him.
You're not done with him.
You
get tired again.
Oh my God, you guys.
So I'm taking a breather.
Something today.
Joe, get me.
If you can have 2 quarterbacks.
Fuck.
If you can have 2 quarterbacks on your roster for a combined total of $40 million, $41 million a year.
Worked out real well.
And if I could have my cake and eat it too, I would love to. But eventually one's going to look at the other and go, why am I fucking here? You're getting paid
and you go, did you watch
much money.
And you go, did you watch Jordan Love? Did you watch him come in for 1 year?
You say that
and get paid for $60 million? What's wrong with that?
Right, but what's wrong with it, though, is the Packers lost the advantage of having a cheap cap number on their quarterback.
Yes.
They had 1 year of cheap quarterback play.
I'm not saying sign.
You're kind of doing the whole
not telling
ATL
you to sign
thing.
Darnold for 5 years. You franchise tag him and make him prove it to you 1 more year, and then you let JJ go have a full preseason. You put him out there, you let him do his thing, you let him be the backup next year, and then you can trade him. You can't trade a guy that's been hurt, that has no playing experience whatsoever, and expect you're going to get a first-round pick out of him. And if you don't get a first-round pick out of him, there's no reason to let him walk. There's no reason to let him walk out the building.
If you're not going to get a first,
you're not, his value right now is not a first-round pick. There's
and
no
way.
And
if that's the case, then it's an easier discussion of then you're not going to sell for 50 cents on the dollar.
Whatever GM would trade a first round pick for a guy that's never played an actual snap in a regular season NFL game.
But isn't that what you're doing with
That's
Cam
the same
Ward?
thing they're doing with these rookies. And you could easily go to your GM and be like, listen, this is our rookie this year. He never taken us up. Neither has Shador. Neither has Cam. But at least this kid has been in a locker room. He's been around the culture. He's cleared to play. He's still the same JJ. I still have faith in him.
The Vikings are going to have to eat the signing bonus.
It's manageable.
What are you worried about? You got a great quarterback. Like, you're so worried about this. But, okay, take it this way. What if your client called you and goes, hey, I know I'm good enough to play here, but they just paid this dude $45 million a year, and I am now fucking unhappy. What are you going to – you can try and talk him off the ledge as much as you want, but he's going to be like, why was I drafted here then? If this dude's taking over, why can't they let me go and go somewhere else? It's not what is right. It's how he's going to be feeling, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm wasting my opportunity.
You act like the NFL cares about your feelings.
I never said that. I said
like you act like
the
Vikings are going to be like, oh – I'm sorry, JJ.
No, but eventually you have to go,
did I hurt your feelings?
I think it's less about feelings. It's more about asset management.
I don't want to create toxic tension.
A quarterback that could be a starter in the NFL in your quarterback room, you have 2 of them. You don't let one walk.
Well, you have 3 if Daniel Jones comes back.
Shut up,
quarterback rehabilitation. Let's go.
Daniel
Dude,
Jones.
He needs a 6-month hard reset. Like lock him in a straitjacket and put him in the corner.
Daniel Jones is just trying to get a ring, and then he's going to hit free agency with a Super Bowl ring.
One last point on this from my end is I will say, gun to the head right now, I am more Team Jeremiah in what I think is going to happen, which is, as hard as it might be, watching that dude, Sam Darnold, get lifted up on his teammates' shoulders and the Aquafina bath or whatever, I think you tag him, some team. I mean, hell, the Patriots got a 2nd-round pick for Matt Castle back in the day. You know, go get a 1st or a 2nd-round pick, and you move forward with J.J. McCarthy. I think that's what's going to happen. But to act like the decision is easy or to act like the circumstances aren't different than they were 6 months ago is foolish.
They're different than they were
like
6
this
months
dude's
ago.
27-year-old former top 3 overall pick. What here's one more question for you guys. What are the chances, even with the bumpy road, that he is now just like perennially the next 7 or 8 years one of the 7 best quarterbacks in the league? Is there a chance?
Yeah, I think there is. I think he has enough talent to do it. But just like any great quarterback, you have to have a good supporting cast.
Right. Where does he go? Who's his coach?
I mean, you can't put perennial top 5 quarterback with a shitty situation.
Right.
I don't care how good you are. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been looked at as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for a while. Right? People put him up there, but he has no one to throw to, and he finally has this rookie that's a great player, and he's been hurt all year. Right. I mean, you look at Joe Burrow. Is Joe Burrow who he is without Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? No. I mean, Josh Allen is really the only quarterback in this year that is doing it without a superstar wide receiver, which is why he's in the MVP category. I don't know if Sam Darnold, and maybe it's because of smaller sample size, I don't know if you can say that about Sam Darnold if he goes to a team like the Raiders, or he goes to a team. I mean, he goes to the Giants, and you have Malik Neighbors, and you're like, okay, now you start pairing him with another superstar wide receiver like Justin Jefferson, and you build around him. Yes, I think he's capable enough to do all those things. I just can't say yes, he's going to do it right now because there's just not a big enough sample.
What
size.
about? Okay, let me give you 2. Just spitballing here. Little reckless speculation.
Little reckless speculation
Here
in
we go.
December. I love it.
Here we go.
Okay. Let's look a little, because we're thinking about the quarterback desperate teams early in the draft, right? Like with the Giants are picking 4th right now. If they get access to one of those top 2 quarterbacks or could trade up, my guess is they would do that over giving up a pick and then paying like $50 million.
Absolutely.
But so let's look later in the draft just for fun. Let's say the currently struggling Steelers flame out in the first round. Offense does nothing. Super wild
Which they
card
might.
weekend.
Watching him on Christmas.
And Russell is 36, or Russell's old. Fields has not proven that you trust him to be a starter. And Pittsburgh's looking for a big, athletic, downfield thrower, George Pickens. If you franchise Darnold, would Pittsburgh give you the 25th overall pick to bring Sam Darnold in on a multi-year deal to be the Steelers' quarterback of the future?
Is Russ signed for another year?
No.
1-year deal.
Yeah, then
Vet-
I would definitely
vet minimum.
Listen, I think that, because he's making 50 with the Broncos still. I would definitely think that they would be huge contention. He reminds me a lot of Ben Roethlisberger, strong in the pocket, has that big downfield presence. They would love to get that again. You know,
Culture,
dude,
Tomlin.
he's all about that. And that's why it kind of goes to Jay, like, what offensive line is he going to be sitting behind? What kind of offense is he going to be in? You brought it up earlier, like, the minute the game starts, my number one question is, are we shutting JJ down, or are we trying to shut everybody down, right? And you see even Sam's looking for him, like right away. He's like, what do we do? Oh, we're bracketing him. That means that these 3 are one-on-ones the rest of the day. Like, you get away from that for a while, and instantly it's like, what are you going to do? What kind of offense are you going into? Who's your supporting cast? Like Najee and Warren over in the Steelers?
Well, Najee's gone. They didn't pick up his 5th year.
Well,
Right, so Najee's out.
Who knows what they're gonna do?
Jalen Warren's the
on
only
fire,
running back.
dude.
He's the only running back under contract for next year.
Which that could all change, but at the same time, you have Freiermuth there, who's big in the middle. He's showing up. George Pickens, Calvin Austin. Like, you have guys around you, but offensive line, how do you stand up? Like, that's one of the things.
Well,
that,
they drafted left tackle Fondue in the first round. They
drafted
they have
all
2
linemen in the first
They have 2
3.
rookies starting up front, right?
Mason
Frazier and McCormick.
Frazier. Yep.
I
And
think that's a great spot for Sam.
I
think
do
that'd
too.
be it.
Here's where I get worried.
Get a first round.
If you go somewhere like Cleveland, I get nervous because I'm like, oh man, this could be the end of what we just saw, right? Like when you're like, as I'm watching this, and I really would hate to see Sam leave here, but as he goes, I'm like, please go somewhere where you can succeed. This has been so, because Jay's right. If he went to Vegas, I would be like, oh God. Just look for Brock Bowers.
Who's so good, by
fucking stud.
But yeah, you need like franchise competence and stability.
But that's the nice thing about with the position he's put himself in. He can be picky.
Yeah, he can say no.
Right? I mean, you can, especially if the Vikings franchise tag you. In the worst case scenarios, you come back to the Vikings on a $40 million contract. Like, oh, boo-hoo. Right? But if you can go and get a multi-year deal with a team that you want to go to, not because you have to go somewhere, that's the best situation for Sam.
So 2 other teams, just for fun, like later in the draft, the Rams at 23 if Stafford retires, and there's some buzz about that.
I could see that.
And I'll throw this one out because right now they've got a 36-year-old, 35-year-old, 1 year left, not much guaranteed money. The Seattle Seahawks at 18.
That's
Bunch
one
of
that
weapons.
Yeah, I like that, but I'll tell you what, I like the Rams even more. Especially for him.
Puka
Kyron Williams
Nacua.
in the backfield. I say Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. Like, that's where he's going to thrive. Like, you look at the offense
I don't know.
now.
Cooper might be washed.
Don't
I haven't
fucking
decided
say
yet.
that, dude. Don't say that.
Dude, he's
It's-
done nothing the last 3 weeks. He's done nothing.
The fact that he's out there, though, you're like, okay, this is going to be an issue. Like,
that he's out there.
dude, to me, he's like a JJ. Where is he? He's
Stop.
tiny and he's
That's-
little.
That is
No.
blasphemy, dude. Do you just compare Cooper Kupp to JJ?
I mean,
That's
I'm not
blasphemy.
saying they're in the same range, but I'm saying
That's what
that
you
when-
just said. You just
when
said
he's
up
on
there
the
with
field,
JJ.
you have to look at him and be
Oh
like,
my
where is
gosh.
he? Oh,
You've been
dude.
smoking way
I've
too
seen
much.
him go for like 200 yards, and you're like, how does nobody see that little
You
white
ate,
dude
you ate
running
too
around?
many gummies this morning. You're out of your
Easy.
mind.
I'm telling you, man. You can say what you want, but at
Dude,
the same
you need
time,
some more
I feel like
Monster.
Sam
Get
would
back on
thrive.
the
Yeah,
monster,
get back on
buddy.
the monster train. Maybe it'll make you start thinking clearly
Fuck
again.
outta here.
I do think the Rams wouldn't be a bad fit, like culture-wise, because of the way McVay is able. I mean, you saw what he did with Goff. You saw what he's done with Stafford. Like, I think that would be a really good pairing as well. But I don't know. Seattle's a different one too because
Seattle scares me.
you have Metcalf, Smith and Jigba is starting to really become emerging as wide receiver number 2. You have Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet.
Love him.
I mean, that's the nice thing. If you're Sam Darnold, you kind of get to pick. Like you'll kind of
Maybe,
get your,
yeah.
you should if you get franchise tag, dude. His agent's praying they franchise tag him. Please give me a baseline number that I
Right.
get to go
'Cause
shopping
then
with.
it's at least $40 million.
Right,
a
like
year.
Oh, yeah.
please
We start at
plant
40.
the flag at 40, and I get to go shopping. Right, like that is that's what he would love for the Vikings to do.
Don't do it.
All right,
Pay
new
that
mic.
man.
Booney,
Pay that
hit us.
man.
Hit us
I've already
with
hit
the
you
mic.
with 12. You want another one?
Okay, no Jay. It's
I
on
got
Jay.
one.
Here.
Well, how about our friends, the New York Jets?
Oh,
People that I have
yes.
defended, the team that I thought was going to win the East, the team that I thought had all the pieces in place and they were going to put it all together. To get dirt stomped like that is embarrassing. And there's no other way to put it. And I saw a quote that Jeff Ulbrich said that he didn't feel like the players checked out. I've never seen an NFL team. I mean, I've seen college teams that have like, oh, that team's checked out. That maybe for me is the first time I've ever seen an NFL team truly checked out. I mean, Sauce Gardner's getting ran by. You've got guys not hustling to the football.
Did you see that fumble?
Like
that was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever
You've got
seen.
weird things happening. Like that team for me looks like they've been rode hard and put away wet, and they're done.
Yeah.
Right? They're done. They're like, this year's been terrible. This year's been awful. And you compare and contrast that to a team like the Giants, who just came out, dude, my phone. I have gotten maybe 50 of these freaking spam calls this morning. It's driving me bananas. Anyways, but like you compare and contrast that to a team like the Giants that came out with some heart yesterday. I think that if I'm Woody Johnson and I'm the whole thing over there in the Jets, I might be taking a scythe and just everything off the top and just starting all over. I don't.
Well, they already did.
It took you
so by
this
the way-
long to figure that out. It took
But
you to
I-
week 17 to
It
come
did.
to our
It did.
side, did it?
I thought if maybe they put together some fight here towards the end, they kind of showed some signs of life. I don't know, man. It's just
By the way, did you see they started their head coach interview process today?
Ron Rivera.
Riverboat Ron,
Riverboat
come on
Ron.
down.
They
Listen,
come in and stabilize the franchise.
I'm sad that it took you this long to realize that guy is a problem in the backfield, but I'm just going to say this. There has been so much stuff leaked about this New York team that at this point, I feel like the only thing Woody can do is sell the team to save face. The minute you started letting people know that your 15-year-old was making business decisions for you, like, and we
Well,
can
did you see the Sauce Gardner thing on Instagram?
No, what did he
Yeah.
say?
So like he commented on T. Higgins' post like pay that man, and then someone commented back and was like recruit him to the Jets or tell him to come play for the Jets, and he responded all caps, I will not be telling him to.
yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's
No
a bad
chance.
culture. That is a bad culture, right? Like that's something that only gets changed from the top down. And the way that this whole season has gone with Aaron Rodgers, like at some point this has to stop and you have to let go. But here's where you get worried. if you don't make a decisive decision early, how many people do you think are going to want to come play for that? Like, you need to let everybody know right now, like, hey, listen, we're fixing shit. Like, dude, it's getting insane to the point to where everyone's like, oh yeah, the minute the helicopter landed, they knew someone was getting fired. Like, how toxic is that culture that the minute the owner shows up, everyone's afraid and they're fearful, and then they're like, hey, a 15-year-old is advising him based on a fucking video game.
But where do you go? So you're not going to be drafting, it looks like anyways, in the top 3 or 4. Rodgers has one more fat year left on that contract. By the way, the biggest Jets news right now is the fact that your starting quarterback just released a 3-part docuseries about trying to discover who he is as a human at age 40.
Enigma.
He's literally he's traveling to all corners of the earth trying to get as high as he can and figure out, like, what's the meaning of all of this.
I'm going to find out who's not about football. I'm going to find out who the mole is and who is not about football here. Hey, guys, did you watch my docuseries?
Yeah.
I know we haven't won a game in a fucking long time.
You guys please leave a 5-star review as you watch it on
Give
Amazon.
me a good comment, okay? I'll do another one. I'm so done with this shit. I feel so bad for New York. And not only that, but Jeff Ulbrich, because he's such a great guy. And not only that, but Robert Saleh before him and Joe Douglas. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know those guys were great guys. I knew they were great coaches. They've been a part of some of the great teams, right? In the last 10 years, like, they were a part of it. They don't just come to one team and fucking sabotage it. That shit comes from within. And when you can't stop that from within, that's a scary feeling. And it makes all these vets that are thinking about going there like, ooh, who's running the show? See, I have a bad game. Am I going to get cut? Is this 15-year-old going to come in fucking yelling at me? Like, instantly you're like, this is a bad vibe all around. I mean, you got guys on the team like, I will absolutely not recruit people to my team. That is the last thing you want to hear. You want guys like, come to us. Come play. You are the one missing piece. And now you got dudes like, no, don't come here. That's a bad look, and I don't care who you are. I mean, I've been giving it to the Giants all year, but Jay's right. When they came out and fucking Drew Lock 5 touchdowns, I didn't even know he could throw 5 touchdowns.
Dude just extended his career 5
right?
years in the NFL.
Like, instantly,
every touchdown, he's like, one more year.
We've talked about
year,
that, right?
One more year.
When they're done and they're down and you come out and play like that, teams go, pay him. Because he's focused and he could help us as a backup. Now, we're not going to pay him a lot, but it helps you. When you're the Jets and you're watching the left tackle, just watch a dude run around him and destroy you. Dude, Aaron caught that ball and took that sack like that. And I was like, you haven't given up, huh?
That was
okay.
brutal, dude.
Okay, sure.
There's also a report now that Garrett Wilson, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, Garrett Wilson wants to be traded.
Good. Tell
Those
him.
Guys are
they're not going to let that dude
odds.
go. So I think it's safe to say that Aaron's.
I think at this point you just wear it and release Aaron Rodgers.
You have to.
Like, I know the cap hit is monumental, but you almost have to do it to win the fan base back. Right? Be like, listen, we're not going to be good next year because we're still paying Aaron Rodgers, but we need to move on. We admit our mistakes, right?
Dude,
my bad.
I
My
saw
bad.
Hey,
someone-
that's the
the
thumb,
best-
not the finger.
Yeah, they'd be like, we admit this was a train wreck.
That was us.
But look
The
at us. We
best-
fixed it. We did. He didn't fix it. We fixed it. We let him go.
Hey,
right?
you're not, and you listen, you're not doing that for the fan base. You're doing that for the team. Hey, we fixed this issue. No going
I
forward.
mean, I'll be very curious what the team thinks of him. You know, it's just one of those things where
It'll come out.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets released, I mean,
It'll
no
come
one will
out.
speak on it until he gets released. And
The
then
next docuseries
the
will be
truth, all
Enigma
rumors, and all that
behind
stuff.
the rumors.
Dude, the best tweet I saw about the Aaron Rodgers Jet situation, it's like when you finally hook up with your high school crush,
Yes.
but she's 42 years old and has 4 kids.
Yep, it's exactly
Not what
right.
you
That
thought.
wasn't quite what I thought
It wasn't
it would be
quite what
25
I
years ago. But,
wasn't
you know.
quite what I dreamed of when I woke up in the morning.
By the way, real quick, next Mike, you guys are talking about just like cesspool cultures. This is as bad as the bottom of the NFL has been in my
gosh,
life.
dude.
So let's just start with the fact, just looking at the
The
draft
have,
order right
the
now.
have, and the have-nots.
But here's what's wild. So let's start with the Jets. The Jets are an absolute, complete train wreck from top down, firing a coach, Aaron Rodgers, infighting, all this stuff, right? Well, they're picking 7th. So there's 6 teams above them even in the train wreck order.
There's even more dysfunction.
You keep going down the list. The Chicago Bears haven't won a game in like 3 months.
Yep.
They're drafting 9th. And then
They're doing pretty good.
The New Orleans Saints, who are also terrible and have no defense and have fired a coach, 5 wins on the season, are drafting 10th. So to be Bears and Saints dumpster fiery and not even get a top 8 draft pick shows you how bad the bottom of the NFL.
Dude, they're just
Patriots
excited.
must-
They're just excited that no one's talking about them, right?
Yeah.
They're like, we're just good enough that we're not the worst. Right? Like we're not. Everyone kind of just forgets about us, right? Like even Scott Hansen yesterday was like, "Well, I guess we'll check in on the Jags and Titans game going on over here." They're like, "There's nothing else on.
Everything's at a commercial.
There's
You know
nothing-
when.
All right, we'll click over to this game. I mean,
How about those commercials? Can we pull them back up? I would rather watch a commercial.
I mean, speaking of the draft order, I mean, the Giants might be the only team that loses when they win.
Yeah.
Right? Because even during the game, they're like, if they win this game, they're going to fall out of position to draft number 1 overall, right? And it's always funny when you get to this point in the year where the fans are like, what are you doing? Why are you winning this football game? Like,
Totally
lose.
flipped. Yeah.
Like, just lose. It's
Just
like,
suck.
wait, I thought you wanted me to win, right? Like, you get to this point where the whole fan base is like, oh, can't believe they won that football game. Now we're not going to get your dirt, right?
Dude.
Well, dude, that's where week 18 is going to be. There's one game in particular where you have, I think the Bills have solidified their seeding at this point. The Bills are the number 2 seed.
Yep.
So the Bills are indifferent about winning that game. They're not going to play starters. And they're going on the road against a Patriots team that needs to lose to hang on to the number 1 overall pick. So you're going to
Might as well just let them win.
Yeah.
Let them win. Let them do it.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be so
epic,
ugly.
man.
You're not gonna want to watch. It's gonna be almost like that Thursday night game. At one point, at like halftime, my in-laws were in town, and I was like, "Hey, Gary, want to put that game back on?" He was like, "Why?"
No.
Yeah, you're right. Let's just go watch the paint dry in the basement. This is fucking terrible. God, that was awful.
Oh man.
Speaking of the Bears is a dumpster fire. Did you guys see Caleb Williams' interview after the game? Talking about like, well, the outside noise and the fans, and
How
we
about he
don't
said
listen
you
to that.
know
He
30
goes,
fucking
"Dude,
times?
30 times.
I hate liking you know. I fucking hate that.
I mean, oof, buddy,
He doesn't know which way he's going.
you can't be that tone deaf in Chicago. Like, it's one thing if you're in a market that really doesn't give a shit, right? You're in LA, and the fans probably like, yeah, I'll just go to the beach. Those fans live and breathe Chicago Bears football. And for you to kind of just be like, we don't listen to the noise. They're going to ride it. They were bad before I got here, so they were mad anyways. It's like, how dumb are you? Like, is that really what you think is the best thing to say right now after going out there and breaking
Also,
the sack record? Congratulations, buddy. You did it.
And of course, it's not your fault that the Bears have been bad for 40 years, but
We drafted you to fix that.
Right. As the face of the franchise, you now absorb all of those emotions, all of that angst, and it's not your fault, but you have to sort of shoulder that. That's why the Bears have, some of it's him and his personality and stuff, but like, this is a huge sports market. They're obsessed. They've been clamoring for a winner for decades, and you're going to put rickety infrastructure around him and do the same thing 3 coaches in a row and fire and start over again. Man, what a situation in Chicago right now.
I'll tell you what. Chicago's crazy. Everywhere's crazy. You know where the craziest right now is? Cincinnati.
Oh, the Bengals,
Can we
dude.
please
That game.
Can we talk? Number one, I'm going to just bring up the mic of all mics. How the fuck do you miss a kick in overtime with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left and expect us to really respect you? Like, at some point, they went to kick the field goal. I go, what could go wrong? Doink. And I was like, they always know how to fuck it up, right? But here's the crazy part.
My favorite's when he's like, oh,
yeah.
how did I? It's like,
Don't.
Just
Don't. First of all, the catch that I think it was Mims made to take it to overtime, where Bo Nix is on like one toe and fucking parallel to the ground. I was like, these rookies are getting so good, right? I love it. But how the fuck are you going to throw the ball 3 times in overtime, waste like 10 seconds, and give the ball back to Joe fucking Burrow and be like, I know. He's not going to do it with Jamar Chase, Yoshi Vosh, Gesicki was fucking on fire. Oh, by the way, Jamar Chase. Like, I was like, dude, you got to be fucking kidding me. Bo Nix had to be so mad. Like, I bring him all the way back.
I think that's a bigger point of the clock management in the NFL.
It's terrible. Fucking terrible.
Really, really bad.
Yeah.
Over the last, I mean, even like Kevin O'Connell yesterday right before half. Like, they have all these timeouts in their pockets, and then the clock is ticking, and they're like, oh shit, 19 seconds, timeouts. Like, you can't burn 3 timeouts in 19 seconds and make it effective. Like, what are we doing?
But
And then
the Broncos thing, like the Broncos needed a tie, not even a win, a tie.
That's the whole point.
And you're in
run
overtime.
the fucking ball,
And-
waste some clock, see what you can do,
dude,
stretch them out.
The Bengals have the ball in overtime with like 4.5 minutes left, and they're dinking their way down the field. And the Broncos are calling timeouts to no, let the clock run. Because a tie wins you a playoff bid.
I mean, also, you're gonna let Chase, your running back, get hurt going down at the 1 yard line, and then just QB sneak at the next play, not waste any more time, like zero. And I know at least make them burn their timeouts. Like, I understand what you're saying of like they're still gonna get but to didn't just sneak it in on second down. I mean, we're talking about like 40 seconds to a minute left of time management. Same thing can be said about the Commanders last night.
Oh,
They're getting the ball and they get the ball at the end and they're like 3 straight 3-and-outs. Let's give the ball back to them and give them a chance to win this game. I just don't understand some of the clock management issues that's been going on in the NFL lately. It's been
crazy.
really, really bad.
It's crazy.
I've got kind of an oddball mic, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the most successful first round rookie class that you can remember in a long time? From top to bottom. Like, if you go through, like, and I was pulling this up.
Like,
so,
not just quarterbacks?
Not just quarterbacks.
everybody.
Right? Not just quarterbacks. So, the 2024 first round draft, right? So, obviously, hold on. Let me find this.
Well, I mean, hell, look at
So, obviously,
some of the
Caleb Williams
non-quarterbacks.
is like, right? But Jaden Daniels, probably going to be offensive rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ever since Drake May took over, he's looked promising and looking like there's a bright future there. Marvin Harrison's been fantastic this year. I mean, he's been a little up and down, but he's overall kind of
can't help that either.
He's wide receiver 1 with Kyler Murray. Joe Alt's been fantastic. Started at right tackle all year for them. Malik Neighbors, unbelievable.
1,000 yards.
Right? J.C. Latham, first round starter at left tackle, had a pretty good year.
Up and down.
Michael Penix comes in, looks really good, right? These last few weeks. Roma Dunze, so-so. JJ, we'll see. I mean, Olu Fashanu, when he came in and took over for Tyron Smith, he had let up like 1 pressure rate before he got hurt. Obviously, Bo Nix. Brock Bowers is just broken the rookie reception record from old Mike Ditka.
How long has that been over?
Talis Fuaga starting. I haven't heard much about Latu, the first defensive player.
Handful of sacks. He's got a handful of sacks.
He's doing all right.
Byron Murphy, stud. Dallas Turner, stud. Mims has been starting.
Yep.
Jared Verse might be defensive rookie of the year.
He's top 5 in pressures among all defensive players.
I mean, so I'm almost done. Troy Fontenot. Troy Fontenot. He got on IR, but he was starting left tackle. Chop's been a solid pressure rate guy.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas is
Quentin
crushing.
Mitchell. Terry Arnold has started all year. He just can't stop holding people. Jordan Morgan, I don't think he's played. Graham Barton's taken over at center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Right? Robinson's been okay. Xavier Worthy's been great. Tyler Guyton's not been very good. Nate Wiggins been okay. Ricky Parcell okay. Xavier Leggett's come along. But, like,
Ladd
usually,
McConkey.
Like, Ladd McConkey was the second round.
Yeah, he's second pick in the second
You're
round.
about, he's saying you're going
But
into the
I'm
second.
saying if you really look at first-round picks over the course of the last 5-6 years, I don't think you can say that they've all had the amount of success that this first round has had.
This many hits
Like
in the
this
first round
many
is very
hits
rare.
in the first round.
Mostly you have guys go down. You have more guys that have bad
not
than
just
good.
hits, but also like meaningful production.
Yeah.
Like not just role players or like guys that are gonna be good, but like these dudes came on and took the NFL by storm as rookies. I mean, Brock Bowers is gonna go down if he continues on this path. He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you're looking like Malik Neighbors is going to be the next JJ and Jefferson out of freaking LSU. So much young potential, and I love that because I always love seeing the changing of the guard in the NFL.
Yeah,
I love when you start to see the little bit. I mean, you saw it with like the Mahomes, the Trevor Lawrence, the Allen class, and now you're starting to see it again with another fresh class coming in and just taking it by storm. I just thought it was really interesting as I was looking at that the other day going, these freaking first rounders are crushing it in the NFL right now.
Yeah, no, it's been fun to watch, and there's a couple dudes like we haven't even seen JJ McCarthy yet because he was hurt, and Dallas Turner too with the Vikings. Penix is just starting off, so yeah. All right, we're gonna pause here and give you guys a part 2 in the form of dumb football questions, but If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the like button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Thank you guys for getting us to 30,000 subs before the end of the 2024 calendar year. And we'll see you over on part 2, Dumb Football Questions.
Yeah.